Hello. My name is Vadim Makeev, and you probably don't know me. I speak a lot on meetups and conferences, but this is my first English talk. Thank you, Front Trends, for this opportunity. I heard Harry Roberts also has started his career on stage of Front Trends, so look where it got him. Do you know this silly phrase, there is no I in team? Like, really silly thing. And I'm sorry I have the same trick in the title of my talk. Because there is I am in IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. And there is I am, there is I in it because part of this talk is my personal story. And the personal part of it is that I'm actually a developer. I'm a front-end developer. And this Internet of Things, this hardware story is not part of my life, actually. It became it recently. But I tried to mix these hardware and software things to figure out some new ways of expressing myself, of doing something interesting. I work for HTML Academy. We teach students. It's a Russian company. We teach students front-end technologies from basic HTML to advanced JavaScript. It's a Russian-speaking thing, so you probably never heard of it, but you will. We teach them not just front-end technologies, but with a special attention to web standards and accessibility. We think that's important. And if you ask me to define myself in a single word, I would say developer, front-end developer, because I develop interfaces using front-end technologies. Using front-end technologies is a passion of my life. And I see the whole audience of people who share my passion, right? That's great. But let's go back to this personal story. In school, I was really into natural science, mostly that's me. Natural science and photography. This is my first selfie. But most of all, physics and chemistry. I remember one experiment, one homework I did for physics classes. I made a house model, two-level house, with one wall removed. And it was fully electrified, like lamps and switches everywhere. There was a tiny oven with burners on top, which you could control with small resistors. Those were LED lamps. It was crazy. I did it all myself. And there was even a tiny fridge with the lights inside. So when you open the door, lights goes on. And but it was always open because I couldn't figure out the way to close the circuit with a closed door. So I used this short circuit trick to turn light off, but it would turn the light in the whole house because of this. But it worked. You know, on chemistry classes, I figure out the gunpowder recipe, and I would make fireworks on the backyard of a school. It was quite a dangerous thing to do. And I also took 25-volt power adapter from my sister's stereo, and I used it to brew sulfuric acid using electrolysis. Why? Why would I do this? Because I was curious. Because it's a fun thing to do, probably. It was also quite a dangerous thing. And as you can see, I have 10 fingers on my hands. I succeeded. I survived this adventurous childhood. But then life happened. I got into literature. I got into literature, journalism. I started to to explore photography, design, and somehow got into web development, front-end technologies. And it was early 2000s. Web technologies were like brand new world for me. I was drowned in opportunities to express myself in this new reality. And I guess 15 years later, I'm still there and with all of you. But recently, I started to realize that I lost something on this path. I lost the physical presence of things I do in my life. Typical story that would typical developers tell you, like, I made a beautiful site website last year, and I'm so proud of it. It was the best thing I did in my life. But they made yet another redesign, and there's nothing left. Like not a single line of my code. It's gone. And this is quite frustrating, even depressing. And what would you show to your grandchildren? What photos would you show them? Like photos from social network that is already closed down for 20 years? Like this digital world is too fragile. You might say, like, we're not eternal creatures ourselves, and this is life. That's true, but compared to our lives, our digital products are way too short. They're way too fragile. We've learned a lot in this fantasy land of virtual world. Let's take this and try to do something in a real life. That's what I'm trying to offer you here. So, Bluetooth. Suddenly, we're back on topic. This personal part is almost over. Bluetooth is the best technology to connect devices and transfer data between them. They created it in 1994 in Ericsson company, and it has really funny logo, which consists of two runes, which is Hagel and Bjarkan. Those are initials of Harold Bluetooth, the king. And it was famous for uniting Dutch tribes into kingdom in 10th century. And Bluetooth also unites protocols under the same standard. I imagine Harold like this, sitting somewhere and inventing Bluetooth to send music from one phone to another. It's not his photo, obviously, but I imagine he would look like this. And just like I said, Bluetooth unites protocols, unites technologies in one single standard. But it also unites people, because Bluetooth is a quite popular thing. And in some places in the world, there are no Wi-Fi, you know? Even here, sometimes there's no Wi-Fi. But this is a conference. It's a really complicated thing to do. Somewhere in Africa, somewhere in Latin America, people would gather in a bigger village once a week to exchange files between their phones, like to get a new movie, to get some news, to get some pictures or music or anything. They would travel there and connect their phones using Bluetooth and send files between them. This is uniting people too, not just technologies and like Dutch people in 10th century. And Bluetooth is something that would really help us to make web technologies in real life, to bring web technologies in real life. And what is Bluetooth? Bluetooth is basically a radio signal at 2.4 gigahertz. And just like anything else, just like Wi-Fi, just like any other things, it's just a standardized way of transmitting data wirelessly. And we use this Bluetooth not only for some complicated things. Like all our wireless world is based on Bluetooth, most of it. Like this clicker is Bluetooth clicker, like keyboards, mice, and headphones, and everything. And it's been a while. It's been around for a while before it became popular, because in 2004, they figure out they've launched Bluetooth 2.0 format, and where then they figure out how to speed it up a bit. And they introduced Bluetooth EDR, and EDR stands for Enhanced Data Rate. So basically, they made it faster in 2004. They invented in 1994, and then many years later, they made it fast enough to be usable, in practical situations. And what is Bluetooth EDR? It's introduced in 2004. It speeds up the technology, and it has permanent connection. So once devices are connected, they stay connected. They always there. So you have to break this connection and connect again. That's how it works. And it works on short distances, up to 10 meters at the most. But for example, in Bluetooth 5.0, introduced last year, they made this distance bigger, and it supports up to 40 meters. So it's like 4 times improvement, which is good. And 5.0 as a spec is already here, but I haven't seen any 5.0 devices yet. And the typical device, Bluetooth device, we use these days as a headphones. Like I have these headphones in my pocket. They're really small. They transmit audio in real time, but what they do all the time, they're charging. Like 90% of the time, they're just sitting there in this small box and charging, because they're too small. Their battery is too small, and transmitting audio is a very expensive thing to do. So they're charging, then I listen it and charge again. So the problem with this Bluetooth technology is that it consumes a lot of energy to be able to transmit data quick enough. But there's another thing called Bluetooth LE. LE stands for low energy. This is something new introduced in 2010. And they introduced it in 4.0 standard. And they decided to split Bluetooth standard into profiles. And one of the profiles was low energy. So they basically, low energy profile, they basically limited Bluetooth specification to be able to consume less energy. But, and now it uses short connections instead of permanent connection. It pings every 5 milliseconds or so. And it covers longer distances, up to 100 meters. And in Bluetooth 5.0, it covers up to 400 meters. Again, four times improvements, which is really good thing. And it opens opportunities for new kind of devices. And because of this, because it's low energy, because it's connection is not permanent, it's really slow, like up to 1 megabit. And this is really like painfully slow. But it has some really good use cases. And a typical use case for this is beacons. I have one in my pocket, and this one is you can see later after the talk. And this is just a small sealed box with a Bluetooth chip and a battery inside it. I got this one on Chrome Dev Summit in California in 2014. It was a Chrome Dev Summit. They gave away 400 such devices to all people in the audience. And imagine situation: 400 people sitting in a room with Bluetooth beacons enabled, and all of them are transmitting their signals. And all people trying to connect their brand new toy with their smartphone. Blank Bluetooth, like open. And it was insane. I couldn't find my own beacon in this room, like 400 transmitting devices. But I was smart. I knew that there is a thermal sensor in it. And I started to rub this thing to make it a bit warmer. And I found a bit warmer beacon in the list of 400 beacons in the room, and I connected it to it. That was a nice trick to do. And official name of this Bluetooth low energy profile is like Bluetooth low energy 4.1 profile, blah blah. It's a very boring thing, and they came up with a marketing name for it. So Bluetooth Smart is Bluetooth 4.0 plus with low energy profile. So when you see some devices in stores, if you want to buy low energy device, look for this logo. I would call it not Bluetooth Smart, but Bluetooth Low, but that's why I'm not in marketing department. And every device, every Bluetooth device transmit a GATT server, so-called, which is generic attribute server. And inside, there's a huge tree of services with characteristics, et cetera, and it transmits all the time. By the way, if you have Android device with you, you might have seen notification on your Android device with a link to my presentation. It transmits URL right now. So you can check if you have it. But it doesn't pop up all the time, but it's there. So I carry a short URL every time I have it with me. This is insane. But if you have an iPhone and you have Chrome installed, you could also add Chrome to Notification Center, and you will be able to see this URL as well. So it's cross-platform. So every device transmits this GATT server with service and characteristics. And there are applications that are both on iOS and Android and other platforms that are capable to explore those GATT servers. And one of the best is NRF Connect. It's available both on iOS and Android, so you can try it yourself, but later. Let's try to see what's going on around us. So here's the screen of my phone in live view, and I see a lot of devices here, like a lot of them. But I also see someone's Mi Band. Let's see if I can connect to a device on someone's hand right now. I'm connected. Can you feel anything? No, I'm just kidding. You won't feel anything. I'll just steal the data from you. But no, I'm kidding, because I won't be able to get any tracking data or something personal. I will be able to see the serial number, some unique features of your device, and this is the nature of Bluetooth. So there's an unknown service, there's something like this. So, but OK, it's already disconnected. So as you can see, I can easily connect to Bluetooth devices. I can explore them. I can see what's inside. All of this because of this Bluetooth low energy profile. It's always open. It always transmits data. So, and what services inside of these GATT servers are? Those are things with unique IDs, and there are 35 standard services, which are battery service, blood pressure, weight scale, etc. And all of them are standardized, but 35 is definitely not enough for such a huge variety of use cases. So in most cases, you will have unknown service when you try to explore such things. Inside services, there are characteristics. They also use the same UID thing, but there are more of them, like almost 180, and like there are 180 standard characteristics. But again, it's not enough. So you will have like battery level, waist circumference, like sport type for an aerobic and aerobic threshold. What a nice name for a characteristics. Very unique. And what you can do with characteristics, you can read them, you can write them, and you can subscribe to characteristics. So that's sort of API for Bluetooth device. You can do something with characteristics of a device. And I have something to show you. Here's the lamp. Lights, please. Great. This is just a really simple device. It's LED lamp and with battery built in. And this is a smart device, meaning that there's a low energy profile built in. And there is a native application for that, of course. And it's available on iOS and Android, and you can use it to control this lamp. It's a bit ugly, it's a bit unintuitive, and it's not updated for the newest iPhone screen sizes. Can you keep the lights off, please? I will, yeah, thanks. So you can use this application to control your lamp and everything. But let's try if we can do something with this lamp using NRF Connect. So I'll filter my only favorites. Let's see if I have it here. Like there are too many of them. Try once more. OK, now I have it. Let's connect to this thing. I'm connected. And there is a FF08 service. Like it's clear enough what it does. And there is a characteristic with an interesting value in it called FFFC. Obviously. And let's try to write something in it. So 00, 00, FF, FF, and send. Whoa. So this is the brand new device. I haven't done anything with it. But it's open. It's open for modifications. Its API is open. So I took just an application and changed the color inside of it, because I sent this hex color code inside, and it worked. That's easy. But where, yeah, in case of the demo will fail, and where is the web in it? You might ask, because I'm talking about only about hardware at the moment, and we just got there. There is a web Bluetooth specification that enables you to communicate with Bluetooth devices right from the browser. This presentation works right in the browser. This is a Chrome browser launched, and we will try to connect to this lamp. But first, if you have any Wi-Fi hotspots or something like this, you might want to disable it for my demos to work better. Otherwise, I will have an excuse. Otherwise, I will have someone to blame if it doesn't work. So make sure you're buckled up and try to connect to this lamp using browser. So there's a huge connect button, and I press it, and I look for bulb. There you go. Yeah, you see this blue ring? It's not just a CSS effect. There's a promise resolved, and that's why it glows. So those two devices are connected now. Not just a laptop, but browser and a lamp directly using built-in Bluetooth chip. And what just happened, step by step? I asked Navigator Bluetooth to request devices, and then filtered device with bulb name. This is the name of this thing. And I also mentioned a service I'm going to use, this famous FF08 service you're all familiar with. And then I launched another promise, and then I requested a device, and then I connected to get server, and then I waited for promise to be resolved. Like, there are many promises involved here. And then I got server. And on a server, once I got it, I requested actual service name, and then when it returned, I requested characteristics. So this FFFC thing, we just tried to do with the application. So FF08 service and FFFC characteristics, like, because there are no standard characteristics for this lamp. And then I got this. Let's try to do something funny with this thing, like this. I can use hex codes to control my lamp. So I'm doing it right now. Let's try something like this. So it's green, it's RGB, it's simple. Like blue and what's my favorite color? Yeah, I already showed it to you. It's like looks like alien artifact a bit. You might wonder how black color would look like. I'll show you. So this is the brightest color of nothing, but yeah, like FFF, it's just a plain white, and yeah, I can play the whole day. So please stop me. Anyway, and little side note on what I've just done here. This is just a simple input text with a pattern attribute in it. And I googled regex, there's no shame in it, to check if it's a valid hex color. And once I have this key up event, I check the validity of this field. And if it's valid, I send data to the lamp. That's easy. And what's going on there? Once I got characteristic, remember, I can write value. And I write array of RGB there. It requires RGB. We have hex. So I googled another hex to RGB converter, which is totally fine. And that's it. I just request services, characteristics, and then write values. That's easy. But there's more. They have built-in programs in this lamp. I can use them too. Like, for example, this one. This is the rainbow. So basically, I just said to this thing, please go and enable your program with some things, and it changes color constantly. And I can control this thing and how it actually works. So I did the same thing, just like I did with previous thing. I just sent array of values to this lamp. But I had to figure out what values, because there's no documentation for that. I had to reverse engineer this thing. And what I did, I took official app, applied effect, disconnected, connected with NRF Connect, and started to look for suspicious values. And then I tried all values, and I figured out what values related to this rainbow special effect. And some of the values are completely unknown to me, like this 0x00, what it does, like for the first one, have no idea. But the last one is speed, and be careful. If speed, if there will be another value, it will be like disco mode, but it's just slowly changing colors. It's not dangerous. And there's another thing I want to show you, much more interesting, I guess. Drone. So this is a really small device. It looks like this, if you cannot see it from the back row. And this is please turn the lights on. Thank you. And this is a really small thing, like it's 100 euros. It got 4 propellers and a battery inside, and really low resolution camera. And there is a stormtrooper on top of it, just for fun. Let's try to see what we can do with it. OK, it's ready. Its eyes are green. And we will try to connect to it. OK, now I see Mars thing. And please, please. Yes, blue ring of success. Whew. Thank you. But let's try to make it fly. There are only 2 buttons, takeoff and landing. And OK, we can try this one more time. Come on. Don't ever do demos on stage. It's so stressful. OK, maybe it will. OK, well, we'll try to relaunch it, but we'll see if it works. So the sample with the lamp was lamp demo was pretty easy to do. I wrote the whole code myself because it just sits there and like changing colors. That's easy. But in drone's case, you have to not just say like fly little bird fly or something like this. No, you have to. I guess someone just connected to it because it wasn't me. I swear. Now we have to land it. Please do this. Well, I will have to do this myself. OK. So I just got my drone hijacked. That's interesting for the first time. So drone thing is much more complicated. I'll take the battery out just in case. Drone is much more complicated thing. You have to control. You have to start propellers spinning. You have to move it up. You have to control how it flies. So it's like all kind of aviation tricks. Fortunately, you don't need a pilot license to do this yet. But there was a really nice demo, progressive web application called Web Drone, and this is actually URL. So you can go there and try to see how it works. Peter O'Shaughnessy from Samsung Internet DevRel made this application, and it looks like this. He did a tremendous work to recreate official application, which Parrot company also have on Android and iOS. So this application could control such drones, like all aspects of it. You can actually fly. You can flip and land and everything. You can actually land, not just like in my case. There's an even emergency land button, so like everything serious. And big thank you, Peter, for doing this, open source power. And I copied his code into my presentation, and I left only two buttons to take off and land. And speaking of browser support, there is something I want to show you. That's what I saw on Can I Use last year. Not exactly like this, but something similar. Last year. But this year, it looks different. It's enabled in stable Chrome for desktop and Android. It used to be available in Opera browser, both on desktop and Android. but it's not there anymore. Not sure why, because like there are many changes happening in Opera company at the moment. I hope they will get it back. And it's supposed to be available in all Chromium-based browsers, like Opera, Samsung Internet, but it's not there. It requires some, I don't know, guts to enable it, because Bluetooth is a scary thing. But Google did it. It's enabled by default in Chrome for Android and desktop. It's not scary anymore. They did all the tests. They really care about security. So I expect Opera in Samsung browser enabled it too, because it's already there. They have to just flip the switch. And for Bluetooth 5.0, it's available since last year. I mean, specification itself. But I haven't seen any Bluetooth 5.0 devices yet, and we can hope that it will bring more use cases in this area, because they made distances like 4 times bigger. They made everything bigger and better. So one day I expect, I don't know, headphones that could last years, like this like this beacon thing could last. So this is my wish list. More? Sure. I have a number of articles for you to read. If you got your notification with a URL of my slides, you don't have to take pictures. The next slide will be with URL, very short one. And there are links to store where you can buy lamp, drones, where you can read articles. But one thing, there is a Yuri Shakid's article on how you can use web Bluetooth, how you can start playing with it without any devices apart from your computer. You can fake Bluetooth device using your console in Node.js. That's it. So you don't need fancy devices like this. So please go and read there. And this is the URL of my slides. Please, yeah, look at this and see if there's anything interesting. Like, all demos are included as JavaScript in on this slide, so like everything in browser. Pebbles Bay, like almost everywhere, on Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere. If you don't have time, I probably don't have time for questions, but you can ask me like everywhere you can find me. I'll be glad to share my experience with this. But again, I'm not Arduino, like BlackBerry maniac. I don't build like microprocessor using my bare hands in the sand. Like, no, I'm not this kind of guy. I'm a front-end developer. I'm a UI developer. But I tried to play with this thing, and I really liked it. I hope you do too. And let's make some fun. Let's go from our virtual reality to the real world. And please don't stay out of trouble. Thank you.